My name is Alex Halliday from Connectivity Point. We were the integrator who did the installation for this auditorium and for the gym upstairs. So we're just going to run through equipment and equipment locations in the rack and around the room, just to get familiar with the layout of everything, and then run through the operation of it, which operation will be isolated to the rack, so using this device and the mixing board when it's needed. So location-wise, obviously you have your rack here. This is where your wireless mic receivers are, your assisted listening device, your touch interface controller for audio control, your video switcher, a CD player, a Blu-ray player, a mixing board, audio processors, and then amplifiers down below. Around the room, we have mic locations, auxiliary mic locations in the booth floor box right here, the stage floor box up front, and then auxiliary left and right of the stage behind the speakers there, and then in the corners over here, and that's it. Then we have, so those are all your audio inputs, video inputs, or no, audio input as well. There's line level RCAs in the floor here as well for you know, whatever additional audio you might need. You know, if you want to have a cassette deck or you know, iPod input or anything.
Music MP3 players.
Yeah. Video inputs are the floor box here in the booth, floor box up on stage. Both have HDMI video inputs to be used. And then you also have your Blu-ray player as an additional video input. Those are your 3 video inputs there. And then outputs for the room as well. Obviously the projector is located directly above the stage. And then your audio outputs are, you have some ceiling mounted speakers and then 2 speakers that will be wall mounted as well. So that's the locations of all equipment, I believe. Any questions on location-wise?
Nope. I know that they are labeled on there. Are they also labeled on the inputs as well?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So operation. I'll hit the video piece first because that's it's much more straightforward and simple. Like I said, you have 3 video inputs: front stage, and then booth HDMI inputs, and the Blu-ray player. The controls for switching to those are on this Extron IN1608 device, and they are labeled. Input 4 is your Blu-ray input, and input 7 and 8 are stage and booth HDMI inputs. You do have to select the inputs here, and then control for the projector is done using the handheld remote. So power on to the projector, and then the HDMI source here. So those are the only controls you have to do to the projector. Really, that's as straightforward as it gets for the video piece. We can, so I got my laptop open right now. So as you can see, it's selected on the booth HDMI here. Image is up. If we go to the Blu-ray player, you'll get that Blu-ray splash screen. And then the stage, if we were plugged in up front, you'll get the stage input right there. That also handles the audio for that as well. So from the audio standpoint now, there are 2 modes to the system. There's presentation and production. Presentation will be your standard day-to-day automated setup. It basically bypasses all of the controls in the mixing board. So so you can control your levels from here or from your device, but everything is at a uniform level, so you don't have to do too much configuration here. To select that, it just works just like an iPod, or an iPod used to work, I guess.
From the 30s.
So you would select presentation. Now it's in presentation mode, and then any of your mics will work automatically at that point.
So test 1, test 2.
You have 3 handheld wireless mics, all labeled as well, and they're also labeled on the inside here in case these labels fall off, and so you have that little backup there. They do come; they're all using normal batteries. And then your 1 lavalier, and then 2 wired mics. The wired mics can just be plugged into any one of the inputs around the room, and they're wired as well all the time. There is a on switch on these as well too.
Great.
So yeah, when you're in presentation mode, all your mics are active. You don't have the ability to control any of the levels at that point. If you do want to control levels, you can choose the production mode, which is the next option down. Spin the wheel and select it. And then when you're in presentation mode, it's now running through the mixer. So if I turn my
Wireless 3 on.
and then bring that level down, now it's gone away. Versus in presentation,
This mic will come back on even though this level is down.
Any questions on that? Kind of ran through that real quick. I mean, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty
What are
straightforward.
the other 2 options?
The other 2 options,
Yes.
below.
Mm-hmm.
So projector volume will be the volume of any video source that you're playing. And this is kind of a master control. It'll work really well for your Blu-ray source, but you can also, if you're using a laptop presentation, you can also just control the volume on your laptop as well. So that'll be your projector volume. And then the wireless mics is, actually, it'll be when you're in presentation mode. So you're in your kind of default mode. The wireless mics level will adjust that wireless level, but it's for all of them at the same time.
And also, Alex, the 1608, the volume should always be maxed out on that for volume output. That's how they had it set for these settings. So if that ever gets turned down, that could be a source of volume loss if they're not aware.
Okay. So the video switcher has its own volume control as well. That is controlling the direct audio output out of it. But the only way to control it as it stands now is with this knob, so this should just not be touched ever. Anything that'll have control for here, you'll want to handle in here in your little iPod. The other control levels here are the control booth aux-in, so that's the RCA stereo pair in there. So that's your line level volume control for in there. Again, that's only for presentation mode and production mode. You will have an auxiliary level control here. So if you're going to mix everything live, you would put it in the production mode, and then you can control your levels here.
Right.
And then that also goes for the control booth mic input as well, and the CD player. So really those last 3 options are replicating the controls for the mixing board without having to get in there and potentially mess up additional levels.
You know, so I have a high-res image of where all the settings currently are for the mixing board. And we're also going to be doing a track sheet on it. So
Yeah, we will have a track sheet that will fill out to show where all the default levels are as they're set right now, in case student or anyone comes in here and starts messing with everything as well. That's really it as well. The Listen Assist system is just always active. So whatever is coming out of the system will come into the Listen device. I don't know how much it will be needed because the room gets pretty loud at its default level. wireless receiver with cable extension. And then the earpiece as well. The extension is here too, so people could bring in their own headphones as well, so you don't have to just use the actual Listen Tech earphones in case people don't want to share them. And honestly, I think that's about it. I don't know if you have any additional questions about operation, but that's about as simple as it gets.
Any cues? Any questions? Before I shut this off?
Go for it.
You good?